Yeah.
it's nice to do this. We don't
Yeah.
see each other very often,
I
so
know. We need to see each other
you
more.
just need to move to Santa Cruz,
I
that's all.
know. So you have been such a beloved member of the Surf Society and just a supporter of the podcast and everything. I have been so grateful to have you in my corner and part of our community. How long have you been a part of the Surf Society? What kind of drew you in?
I think I found you a connection with Danielle. Somehow, this weird Instagram world that we
Yeah.
find all these connections, and I connected with her, probably because in Santa Cruz, she's an artist, so you end up linked in, and then I think she posted or shared something with Surf Society, and then I started following you guys, and then you and I would, like, message somehow, something would connect, and we'd be like, "Oh, yeah," and then I was like, "Oh, wait, I should probably just join this group." And it's supportive, and it's you don't feel like you have to do all these things. Like some groups, I feel like if you're local and in person, you're like, "Oh my god, the meeting's tonight. We have to be there. We have to do this. We have to do that." And this is it's there and you can check in later or you can do it live. There's options and there's always that support or there's ideas that you can use later and maybe they don't apply right now. It doesn't have that intensity of you need to be here at this day at this time all the time, but it's 100% supportive all the time. And you cover this variety. It's personal life stories, it's skills that you can acquire and practice, it's overall knowledge. So I think because it covers all that different stuff, like different days, something different will speak to you. There's times I read one of the personal experiences or whoever you have as a guest and you hear it and you're like, yes, I relate to that.
Love it so much because I feel like there's a misconception that surfing's so linear. Join this course, learn this stuff. And it's not.
No.
It's not. And so you like you said, it's this toolbox, like another one of the women described it as like a toolbox. Like you absorb all this knowledge and you come back to it. That's like absolutely how I use it too. Even things that I know we learned a year ago or even further back, I'm still thinking about that stuff. Like it doesn't come
Right.
up
It
every set.
sits
Yeah.
back there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. I watch videos and I'm like, "Oh, yeah, we talked about that," and it starts,
Yeah.
like, marinating in. It's like this real layered process, and when you open up yourself to it, I think you get a lot out of it.
It's all information. Like you take it in and it has to sit there and you process it. And then as it's in there, you start figuring out when it can be applied in your world. And I think that's a big thing. It doesn't mean like I'm going to go paddle out 20 minutes after whatever information's provided and go apply every single bit of it. Because we know surfing is surfing, the ocean is the ocean, the lineup is the lineup. It's always ever changing. And then there might be a moment where it happens and you're like, oh, yeah, wait, that's the moment. And it just, as long as it's all there and you're processing it and it's on hand, then you apply it when it presents itself.
Tell us about your surf journey.
Oh, wow. It's a crazy one. So, even though I was born in Canada, Northern Ontario, so I was in the water. My mom had me swimming in a lake when I was 2 months old. Definite water baby. And, but then we traveled to the ocean from when I was really young. We actually came to California and we lived in Carmel for a few years when I was little. And I spent hours and hours watching the waves. Like, it just was part of our daily life. We'd go sit on the rocks, and the beach across from where we lived is actually called Mortuary Beach. So we spent hours and hours watching these waves and what they would do and playing in the water. And then I met my husband, and we would travel and we would just randomly do a surf lesson, Costa Rica, here, there, whatever. But it wasn't like a real thing because we weren't living on the ocean. And then when my boys were young, they were like, wow, we want to learn to surf. I was like, okay. Because they've been going to the ocean too in California since they were babies and loved the water. They played under and over as little kids. That's how you introduce kids to the ocean and how to read waves. You play that game of, do I go under this one or I go over it? So that you can see the shape and what it means and how it's going to break. And so we're like, okay, fine. Book a trip to Costa Rica. Ended up extending that trip because we had so much fun. We're like, we can't go home because we lived in Colorado at the time. And we're like, no, we're not leaving. So we extended it another whole week. My husband called work and said his son had an ear infection. We couldn't fly over the mountains, which may or may not have been a little bit true.
Yeah.
So then we all got guidance on how to do it properly. Like I would
Yeah.
say from the beginning, anybody interested, 100% do a surf camp, do
Yeah.
instruction.
Yeah.
It teaches you about the ocean, it teaches you safety, it teaches you etiquette. Obviously, if you get the right one, because there's definitely camps out there that are BS and there's instructors that are BS. But really do your research, find a good one, and get a really strong foundation. So we did that, and then we ended up moving to the Caribbean for 2 years. And so the boys and I ended up with boards, and Mike was in med school. The boys and I would go surfing. And we just built from there, but we got that strong foundation before we left. And then moved back to Colorado after a few years, and we took a lot of trips to Mexico.
Yeah. That is one of
Um,
your favorite destinations, right?
Definitely a favorite. We went to Puerto Escondido and everybody's, "Oh my god, there's big waves, it's scary." I'm like, "Yeah, but there's also all the other waves." And my husband was doing a rotation at the hospital there, so we spent a whole month, the boys and I, basically surfing every day.
Oh, amazing.
And after that, we're like, we gotta go live inland. This is really hard." But we made it through, and now we live in California where Mike and I got married in Carmel 26 years ago. So it's like coming home. And now it's part of your world and it's in your brain and it doesn't leave.
It really is. It's 100% your identity.
Yeah.
What would you say about the other women that you've met through Surf Society?
I love that it's such a mix. It's so interesting because in your head, regardless of who you are, your experience, you have, oh, this is the person. They grew up surfing. They've always done this and they've always been in the ocean. They've always been an athlete or this or that. And when you hear their stories, I'm like, oh, wow, that's really cool. You were like older when you started surfing, or you live in Canada and you surf the Great Lakes, which there's spots I used to visit as a kid on the Great Lakes when I was young. And I'd be like, they really do surf here. And I was young. So I was just like, really? They do that here? And so when I hear those stories, I'm just like, it really is a melting pot. Like all different. And for whatever reason, the ocean draws us in. I just think it's really cool that such a mix of people have come together to share.
We have lake surfers, and then one of the women, she lives by a river, and it's like a yeah.
Yes, which
And
is
she
crazy.
drives by a river, and then she drives out to the coast, and then she posted a video. I was like, "What? That's so nuts."
I know, it's crazy. Actually, my son was in Germany, and there's a river wave in Germany, and he was on a school trip, and his mom at the surf shop wasn't open late enough. Otherwise, I would have rented a wetsuit and surfed the river, which
Oh my
I was
gosh.
like, "Oh my gosh, Dylan," because when he went and looked at universities,
Yeah.
he was going into marine biology, of course, and he went to Maine, and he checked schools out on the West Coast, and he surfed on the West Coast, and then the same week, him and his dad flew out to Maine, and he surfed on the East Coast. He's like,
Oh,
"I surfed both
wow.
coasts," and it was in March. Oh my gosh, he was, like, in a 6 mil suit and gloves. I couldn't move, but I had so much fun.
Oh my gosh, that's the dream.
Yeah, definitely.
What kind of advice do you have for any women that like, anybody that's maybe feeling stuck or intimidated in their surfing?
I've been there, obviously, for multitude of reasons, not just one thing. Keep going. Just keep going out and say, I know it's hard because over a period of time, you're like, how often can I go out and say, still be, I got it, but I really would like to move forward. But one day there will be a switch. There'll be a moment where it happens. Try to find the positive every time you go out. After a surf, be like, oh, but I did do this and I did do that. And then maybe reflect on what you wanted to happen in that session. So, one of the teachers I worked with, he always said, you don't learn anything unless you take the time to reflect.
Mm.
So, sit back and be like, okay, today, my last wave, there was a beautiful big face. And I came in, I was like, I messed that one up. And my husband said, why? What went wrong? And I go, I wish I paddled in earlier. I wish I set my line earlier. So then ask yourself, what did you want to happen differently? And once you figure that out, That's when you can go, how do I fix that? And if you're intimidated, paddle out, maybe in conditions that intimidate you, even if you don't catch a wave. If you can do it safely, obviously. Like there's times I've been like, should I do this? Should I not? And be like, it's okay if you don't catch a wave because you're learning just by sitting out there. You're
Yeah.
learning by watching what the conditions are doing. Okay, look at Surfline. What are the charts saying? And what am I seeing? Okay, I understand a longer period means a bigger wave. So even it says 2 feet, but if it's at 18 seconds, do you think the wave's going to be 2 feet? Probably not, because you got a long period. It's definitely gonna be swell might be 2 feet, but the actual wave is gonna be bigger. Learn the conditions, get comfortable with them, and it means swimming without a board, go play in them. I have friends
Yeah.
that are like, "Yeah, it was really big. I wasn't sure about managing a board in them, so I just went and swam out in it and felt the energy and how do I move my body so that I can still be safe?" Helps if you have a place that has a channel where you can sit and watch and feel safe. Just know that you can paddle out to sea and you'll be fine. I know that's a big thing for me, and I've had to do it, and I'm like, "Wow, now I'm way out here. What do I do now?" And you find a way in. People are there to help. If you feel like you're in a spot and you got stuck and you're like, "Oh, crap, I don't know what to do."
Yeah.
And I've had people around me do that, and they're like, "I'm really scared. I don't know what to do." People will guide you, but make
Yeah.
the safe decision for you and just expose yourself to different conditions. Or the thing, I'm terrified of a low tide, even if it's a small wave.
Yeah.
It's small, hollow, and fast on a longboard. I'm just like, no, that makes this
I'm the
thing really
same.
deadly. Like
I'm the same.
it's here. I'm not fast enough. Like some people are fast enough to pop up and still tuck along.
Yeah.
And I can't do that
Well,
anymore.
it's tough
So,
with the big board too, because if you
right?
get thrashed with a big board and a low tide and a steep wave, it's a way bigger beating than something smaller.
Exactly.
Yeah. Something I love that you talk about is, like, understanding, learning the conditions and how to read the forecasts and stuff, and you came in Surf Society with a little more knowledge, ocean knowledge and stuff, but we do have, like, lessons in there that are all about learning how to read the conditions, and
Right.
yeah, and being a part of that, which is great because it gives you that kind of background and you don't feel like you're coming into something completely unarmed, like, with
Right.
no information, and the most important thing so the lesson that we have with that is called How to Read the Break, right? The most important thing I feel like that doesn't get taught is how you just sit there before you even surf and just analyze, like you said, like, "Where's the channel? What's my exit strategy?" I think that's the biggest one.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh. You
especially
gotta
for
have
you in
one.
Santa Cruz.
You gotta have one. Look
Yeah.
at the tides. Look at the tides. There's tides. It's an ocean. Like,
So I love it because this is Surf Society is such a great place to not only learn that stuff, but ask the questions and then get the advice of women that have different levels of experience. You have
right.
completely different type of experience than I have, and I think when I've come up to Santa Cruz, you've given me advice on like where to paddle out, like what to look out for.
Right.
Yeah, and it's really helpful. What would you say to somebody that is looking for more support and considering joining Surf Society, coming and joining us and being a part of our group? What would you say
Say,
to her?
I would say pull the trigger. You may not know at the beginning what you can get from it because even when I joined, I was like, I knew you, we had communicated, and I'd gone on and seen a few things. So I wasn't 100% sure of what was offered. I could have probably asked the question and found out, but I was like, this already feels like a welcoming community. So pull the trigger and know that there's always someone on the other end that can answer any question and you don't feel stupid, like you're asking a stupid question. Like it's a comfortable environment where you can ask whatever. Someone else might say, "Oh, yeah, I have no idea. I need to know that too." Someone else will be like, "Oh, yeah, I actually experienced that. This is what I went through." And yes, the variety of information from, like you said, you got from ocean knowledge, how to learn about the ocean and what's important, to life experiences, equipment skills, paddling skills. Like there's such a variety that I feel like you can't go wrong. There's always going to be something that someone can benefit from. And it's women, especially in surfing. We all know, like, you go out there and there's days I paddle out and I just go, okay, this is the day it's going to be. But we got this. We got this. We belong here. We're just as strong or stronger, I might add, in many cases. I had a really interesting experience in Mexico. One, just one, which felt great that it was only one because you've surfed in Santa Cruz. It can be, you've probably had really chill experiences, but honestly, the lineups here are probably the most aggressive I've surfed in all of the world. And I've surfed in Morocco, we've surfed in the Caribbean, like hands down. And my boys have both experienced it and come home in tears. And not as little kids, like, and they are respectful because that was the number one thing they were taught. You respect the lineup. You respect the ocean, you respect the people in the lineup. If you're not from there, even more so,
Yeah.
because that is not your home and that's not your lineup, not that anywhere belongs to any one person. And it's really aggressive here. And I've had to really teach them and myself, how do you navigate that? Mentally, how do you go have the experience you want to have when that's out there? And it can be very negative. But in Mexico, it was a spot. We were surfing a left. It was awesome. We surf there every day. And there's very few people that take the lefts, which is awesome. But there was a few other people, but it was very clear like who was going. Oh, like you haven't gone in a while. Either the wave was coming to you or it wasn't. Like it was really clear. And went for a wave and I looked like twice down the line to my right. And I was like, nope. And being on a longboard, not wanting to push the envelope, we were over a little bit, not as deep because we're not on a shortboard. You didn't want to end up in the middle and being tossed and turned. So look twice, paddle, and I was pretty much, yeah, I'm forcing it at this point. So I was backing off and I look again to my right and this guy on a shortboard's coming and he stops and then he throws his arms up and he's like, why are you going for the wave? And I'm like, I stopped. Why did you stop? Are you mad at me because you stopped? Because you could have kept going. And I just was like, I didn't see. Look down the line twice. The sun is also rising at that point. So it's
Yeah.
really hard to see. But
Yeah.
I'm also like, that means you caught it on the inside because I was way out back and there was nobody on it with me.
Yeah.
I was like, whatever. Like, I'm not dealing with you. He was not from there. He was an American. And I warned our friends with us. I said, just heads up, that guy's a dick. Like, be forewarned. And I paddle back out and he paddles over. He goes, sorry, I was being a dick. I'm like, yeah, you were. And he goes, yeah, when I'm going for a wave, I don't notice if there's people. I don't look. And I go, I do. Didn't see you. Not sure where you came from. Must have been last minute on the inside. And I go, I'm in Santa Cruz. There's 50 freaking people on every wave. So you got to look like it's
Yeah.
not an option.
I
So I
love,
don't know.
though, your composure around it because I think that's something a lot of women struggle with when you don't have as much experience on standing up for yourself in the lineup. And that took me, honestly, probably took me a couple years to really understand. And it's when you really understand like how you move around the lineup, reflecting on
Yeah.
your sessions, you really understand etiquette and safety. I think that's really important. And then you
Huge.
build these experiences where you know right off the bat, like, nope, I don't need to go home and mull this over in my head whose fault it was. I absolutely know. And I think that's a skill that a lot of women in surfing are probably striving for, but they don't really know how to get to. I want to definitely say that the confidence, at least for me, also has been through the information from Surf Society. As far as like, I know I have the information, actually, even as basic as how waves break, where waves
Right.
come from. I guarantee you that guy doesn't even know where a
Right.
wave comes from. Yeah.
Right.
And when you're able to walk in and be like, I already know more information than you, even if I'm not as good of a surfer on the wave, you come in with a different kind of confidence. So I love how you exhibit that. You're like, no, not dealing with you, not dealing with
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I don't notice if there's someone. I'm like, I
You
do.
should.
Sorry. I
Yeah,
am big on safety and I'm big on etiquette. Like,
100%.
huge. Like, I'm not a dropper inner. Like,
Yeah.
I've been told by Wingnut, go, you should have gone. I'm like, that's against all my like moral, ethical. being. I can't, it's hard for me to do that. I'm getting more comfortable with if someone's way behind me,
Yeah.
then okay, and it's a chill wave, then I'll go. But I also don't have the confidence in my body because of the MS to know that it's going to do what needs to do. Like it may one day be like, "Oh, you thought you wanted to go that way? Guess what? We're going over here." And I don't want to disrupt someone's line. Like I respect
Yeah.
them
Yeah.
and I know how hard it is to get a wave and
Yeah.
the time it takes, especially in crazy lineups, that no, that's not fair. Like, why would I do that to them? I've had guys that'll do circles and I'm just like, I'm going, dude. Don't be back
Yeah.
paddling. Don't be doing that. Like everybody else is taking their turn. Go back to kindergarten and learn how to wait in line. Like
Love it.
I just
It's such a great attitude. Just a great just, like, confidence in you, and I think that every woman should pull more from that, especially in
I
the
have to
lineup.
say, it takes time
Mm. Yes.
and there's still days that it's not there. There's
Yep.
days when you feel the energy and you're just like, either you're not up to it or it just feels so intense and aggressive out there that you're like, is this worth it today?
Yep.
You have to evaluate. There's sometimes that it's a learning lesson and the person will accept the lesson,
Yeah.
or there's days that it's like, it's just going to keep going downhill and it's not worth it. And I told my son, there's days when you're out there, you're going to be having a blast. Someone's going to paddle out and they're a total dick and they're going to bring that energy and you can choose to paddle in. You're not giving in to them. You're protecting that positive experience
Yep.
that you were having. And that's a choice you get to make. It's hard. I know I do it. There's times I'm like, no, I'm not leaving. I was here first and I was having a great time. But then I'm like, but wait, I want to end on that
Mm.
positive note. And I don't want to get sucked into the craziness that's happening. And you make that choice and it's not giving in. It's you doing it for yourself. But it's hard. How do you read it? How do you read the energy? How do you read where you're at that day? It's
Right.
not straightforward. In my son now, there's times he's come home and been like, I did it, mom. I chose to say, nope, I was having a great time. I'm going to go home on that and I'm out of here. I'm not going to get sucked into this negative, aggressive energy. And it's, yeah, but it's hard. It's not easy.
Not meant to get perfect, the first time or any time. The
No.
process of learning to trust where that's at for you over time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're all human and we all make mistakes.
Yeah.
So when someone makes a mistake and they're like, oh man, I totally biffed that. Sorry. Then you're like, okay, got it. We all make mistakes. But then there's the times that you're like, no,
Yeah.
you made that choice.
Well, let us wrap this up because we've got the next call and Val's on the in the waiting room for us. But let me ask you this. What's your favorite thing about Surf Society?
Oh, wow. Everybody's so positive because there's days you're frustrated or you're annoyed. And then you read something or someone shares something and you're like, it gives you a mind switch. It gives you the opportunity to be like, okay, we all have the hard days, but then you have a good day and then it draws you back. Or the one story that was shared that she kept hitting roadblocks, but she kept coming back. And I'm like, it draws you back every time. And to hear other people's experiences helps you stay in that more positive environment. And all the knowledge, there's so much stuff out there that you may have learned, but then you forget. And you're like, oh, yeah, that's right. And a community. It's a positive community.
I feel like with Surf Society, I'd never had a group like this. Even with friends I surf with, I think what's different is because we talk about our skills in Surf Society and our goals. So when people make these moves and they're doing things they were working on, your win is my win. I'm now automatically so
Right.
stoked that you took that first cross step or you did that turn or now you shared a video and you're surfing so much more confidently than last year. And
Right.
you really feel like, "Oh, I feel accomplishment because she did
Right.
it." Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
really
When I was in
beautiful.
Mexico, I was on a shorter board, only by 4 inches, but you realize 4 inches can be a lot in a faster wave.
Yeah.
And I was popping up and I was far back on the tail. And when you had talked about when you were on a smaller board and you're like, oh, my nose was up because I kept being on the back too much. I was like, wait, Laura talked about this exact thing that I'm experiencing. And I was like, okay, remember to scoot up just a little bit. And I totally did. By the second day, I was like, okay, we're back to normal on the board. But it was like, I totally in my brain went back to that conversation that was in one of your replays. And I'm like, ah,
Oh,
but
I
like,
love that. I didn't
so
know.
yeah, it connects so much on a deeper level, I think, than just a regular, like talking to someone when you're out in the water or whatever.
Thank you so much. I'm gonna end it on that, and we're transitioning into our community shop talk, where you're gonna talk to us about surfing and MS and autoimmune and
Yeah.
everything that you're so inspiring. So stoked to do that.